Welcome to this week's edition of Stock Show Confidential. You know, as we travel across the country going to all the major stock shows, well, there's got to be some training involved. We're actually at Howard College. Now we're going to head over to the G.C. Broughton Ag Pavilion where goat camp is going on. These kids are getting hands-on experience of learning all the components of making them a champion in the show ring. So follow us along as we enhance our skills in the world of show goats. Well, friends, let's head inside the G.C. Broughton Ag Pavilion here on Howard College. Now, behind me, these kids are getting some real hands-on experience. They've brought in some of the top guys in the goat industry right here to Howard College to teach these kids a thing or two about the world of show goats. Now, these youngsters, they come from all over the United States to participate. This is one of the oldest goat camps anywhere in the country. If you want some hands-on experience, this is the place to be.
Well, this weekend we've got our Howard College goat camp. This camp features 20 folks from all over the nation. We've had as many as 5 states at one time present. And we just bring young people and parents in. It's a family-run type of situation, and that's what makes stock showing, I feel like, so unique, is that it is a family affair, and you know, it takes mom, dad, brother, sister, the whole family to make a project come together. Goat camp was started in 1994, so it's a long-standing tradition. It lets us showcase not only the stock showing in general for the industry, but also our campus, and that's what this deal's about for us, is to get young people on campus to hopefully later on down the road have them come back and judge livestock for us or be in the ag department. Well, the benefits of coming out to this camp, of course, first and foremost, the showmanship portion of it, the young people being able to better themselves with showmanship skills.
Let's try it this way. So you can do it just like this. Now he's pushing, and I got the legs. See the legs, how they're set right there?
But not only that, the parents take away a wealth of knowledge from our instructor team. You know, you can go far and wide and not find this many heavy hitters in the industry, but certainly the parents, we talk a whole lot about nutrition, feeding, the overall health with Dr. William Edmonston. He does an excellent job of telling people what to look for and signs that to catch, you know, early when something might be going wrong with the health of that animal. So those are the overall, the gist of what runs through this 3-day event. Well, certainly not only do we have the educational group sessions where we would discuss, but we also break out in individual sessions broken down by age groups. The 9 and under being our junior, 10 to 12 being our intermediate, and 13 and up being our senior division. And that allows us to get a more hands-on approach with these young people, to let our instructors get that one-on-one time and visiting with the young people or the parents and telling them things that, you know, specifically that they can do to better their project, to better maybe a way that they might be showing.
When you bounce him, then throw that knee into him just a little bit. That'll go right there, good. See how you just kind of, when you bounce it and threw that leg in there, so top, it's really come up. So that's what you want right there.
All right, get those legs in there. You see that leg, how it's forwards?
Back to the other side, good. Now walk him on.
The goats certainly would benefit. The young people get an opportunity with top class instructors, and it's just like practicing with anything. You know, the more that you practice with that particular animal, the more comfortable they're going to be with you, the better the animal's going to respond to your actions, and it's a good team effort between the animal and the young person that's exhibiting. The number one reason in my mind for folks to come out to this camp is it's going to allow you the opportunity to hear from the upper echelon folks in the industry. These people are in the know, they're judging major stock shows, they've been in the industry for many, many years, and they've just got the ability to portray that to these young people and take them to the next level. You know, and we'll have various levels of folks. There are going to be beginners here. There's going to be people that have been several times to camp, repeated, and they've had a lot of success. They might have even won some stock shows. But our instructors have the ability to match that and to take each kid to the individual next level. And I think, you know, this being a family-run affair, I think it lets families get closer, and it just allows people to grow as a group and a family, and it helps them to achieve their goals. You know, many of them, these projects are investments, not only in time but in monetary value. And so, you know, if you're going to do something like this, you need to do it to the best of your ability, and I think that's what folks that show up here are after, and I think that's what we provide.
Little bit right there, see it? Put that board down that backside of that leg. That's perfect.
Attaboy, right there.
Folks, stay tuned. We've got a lot more goat camp in store for you, so don't go anywhere.
Stock Show Confidential is brought to you by the following sponsors: Sullivan Show Supply and Stock Show University, SureChamp, Justin Discount Boots and Cowboy Outfitters, Showmaster Feeds, StockShowConfidential.com, Rogers Ford, EB Trailers, and Paragon Bed Covers.
Sullivan Show Supply was established with the vision of producing more than just your ordinary show supply products. Whether it's fitting supplies you're looking for or the latest equipment, everything you need to make it into the winner's circle is right here. Don't just take it from me, take it from them. Sullivan Show Supply will be here before and after the sale.
Welcome back to Stock Show Confidential. Now let's head over to the trimming and shearing demonstration. You know, if you want to be a champion, you got to look like a champion.
When that animal goes out there into the show ring, if I'm judging the show and I look at your goat and it looks like he's been sheared with a weed eater, like, that's a reflection on your entire program. Seriously, he doesn't look like a champion. So it's something that's easily taken care of, but make that goat look like a champion. I mean, this is something that's fairly easy to do. Try to get this thing done within 30, 45 minutes. If you have some ringworm, you discover some sort of blemish or ringworm or fungus on these animals while you're clipping them, then you need to be cautious not to spread that either on that animal to other parts of his body or to other goats. With something, here's some spray disinfectant to kind of sterilize those blades between an area of infection on a particular goat before you go to another area on that goat, or at least between goats. Spend a little time blowing them dry. If you take them to the wash rack and wash them before you clip them, you know, dry them off some. Don't have them soaking wet while you're doing it. The particular set of clippers that he's using here are called stablemates. They've been around for a good long while and a pretty good product. Good set of clippers. They're reasonably priced in the scheme of clipper world. You know, in a lot of cases, your ag teacher will have a set of clippers that you can check out. The county extension agent, in many cases, will have a set of clippers that you can check out. But long, smooth strokes is going to give that appearance of that animal being smoother. So if there are any clipper lines, they're going to be going long ways down this animal and always against the hair. You can't clip that goat hair off if you go with the hair. And there's going to be places that you have to change directions, like under the belly. You know, if you get to about the rear flank there, you're going to have to go backwards to go against the hair. I like to have a tail that's neat and clean and that doesn't have a lot of extra hair, that doesn't draw my attention to it. The last joint, or the amount of hair that I leave, is about as long as the last joint on my thumb. I only leave about that much. I just leave a small switch on there to signify the end of that tail. quite the artist too. And there it is. Yeah, and you know, that's my preference too. You know, you've got to manipulate that goat's appendages like that in order to get to some areas that have some hair growing on them that you couldn't normally reach. And so he's lifting a leg up so he can kind of get, you know, down between his legs and get that all cleaned up. You can see the amount of time that he spent on this goat. The goat looks fairly smooth. Not a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of time once you've done, what, a couple thousand of these or so. The head takes a little bit of time. You've kind of got to manipulate that and work with him. He's taking some time to go in on the insides of the legs so that we, again, can have that look of some base width. We just want him to be really smooth from end to end. This goat really hasn't stepped off the side of the stand, but expect that to happen. They're going to step off the side, and then they're going to pretty quick understand where the edge is, and they'll stay in the middle. See how many different angles and directions he's having to go on that head. That hair grows in some wild different directions on top of the head, right on top of the pole. There's kind of a V-shaped thing that you're going to have to kind of dig at and change directions a couple of different times in order to get that hair off of that spot. And hey, you can't overdo it. Make them look as neat and clean as possible, okay? Notice he really never touched any of this hair below the knees and honks. You want to leave that. There's no reason to. We want to see some bone and some ruggedness in these animals, and so we want to leave that hair. We're trying to create an illusion of a champion, and so the smoother, cleaner, neater job that you can possibly do is going to give that illusion. Now, you might get beat on muscle or structure or something else like that, but you're not going to get beat from the standpoint of how your animal looks in regards to his haircut.
Well, howdy folks, here's an opportunity that you won't want to miss. At Stock Show Confidential, we're going to be giving away a free heifer calf feed and mineral supplement. Now all you have to do is go to stockshowconfidential.com to register. The feed is going to come from Showmaster Feed, mineral supplement from Showchamp, and one of the top heifer calves anywhere in the country going to come to you from Sullivan Ranch. Tune in, check it out on stockshowconfidential.com. Void where prohibited. Welcome back to Stock Show Confidential. Now we're going to hear more about the host of this great event, Howard College.
Well, Howard College was started in 1945, and we have various programs ranging, of course, starting with agriculture, my bread and butter, and the best part for me. But we have various programs on campus, and what we do, we just prepare young people to, we get them roughly 60 hours of freshman and sophomore level courses, and we get them ready to transfer on to the university of their choice. Our agriculture department, we have a livestock judging team. Mr. Daniel Woolley's the coach of that. He and I judged here together at Howard College, and he went on to judge at Texas A&M. But they do a really good job. We have kids from all over the state, several times from as far away as of the Dakotas, but many kids that we can bring in and give some scholarship monies to help them further their education, and they get to see the world while doing so and judging livestock. So it's a good opportunity for them, and it's certainly a great opportunity for us to bring some numbers onto campus. And so that's what we're all about, and that's what we try to do, is educate young people. We love helping young people, and anytime we get an opportunity to sit down and recruit or be a part of any event that's related to agriculture, we try to do that in our community and within the state.
In order to be a champion, you better have your animals on the proper worming program, and there's several ways to do that, from orally to injectable to pour-ons. Let's hear from Dr. Bowe as to what our options as consumers are for our worming regimen. You know, Dr. Brock, as we travel around the country to the different shows, we're asked questions all the time, and especially over in the goat and lamb barn, about worming their animals. What's the proper time to do that?
So what I like to tell people is this: if you worm your animal, your show goat, your show sheep, one time a month while you have it, you're probably going to be, unless they get in a big wormy environment, a big worm-burdened environment, those rascals are probably going to be good with one worm in a month. But the question is what wormer do you use? I'll tell you, Terry, there's lots of wormers on the market today. They flooded the market with different brands and kinds of wormers, but here's what I say. If you use fenbendazole, which is Safeguard or Panacure, they're both the same, just a different name. If you use that dewormer at the dose that's recommended for sheep and goats, you're going to kill just about every internal parasite that they get. So I like to tell people, when you first get your lamb or your goat, worm it with Panacure or Safeguard, wait 2 weeks, worm it then with an ivermectin product, and then for the rest of the time you own that critter, you rotate between those two types of wormers on your monthly basis.
What is the best way to determine? I mean, if somebody's not sure that their goat or their lamb's wormy, how's the best way to do that?
You can actually, that's a good question. You can catch some fecal material from your animal and take it to your veterinarian, and they can put that in a special media where the eggs that are present in that feces will float to the top. And then they can look at it under the microscope, and they can tell you what kind of worms that they have, how large the worm burden is, and what you need to worm them with to get rid of them. And so if you have a question, or if you think they're breaking through between that monthly wormer, just take a little fecal material over to the veterinarian and they'll figure it out for you. From Brock Veterinary Clinic in Lamesa, Texas, I'm Dr. Bo Brock, and we thank you for joining us here on Stock Show Confidential. If you come up with any questions or have anything that you want to know, be sure and visit the website at stockshowconfidential.com. Thank you.
Be sure and check out stockshowconfidential.com. Now, if you have an interesting story, we'd like to hear about it. And also be sure and check out our Breeders' Corner. We have the top goat, pig, lamb, and steer breeders listed there. Check it out. EB aluminum trailers are the choice of serious showmen. Began in 1938, EB's among the most experienced livestock trailer builders. Family owned for 3 generations with dealers all over North America, EB will be there for the long haul. So it's no wonder you see more EB trailers in show lots than any other brand. Champions choose EB. Come choose yours.
Cattle Visions is America's premier multi-breed semen distributor and is the company that'll help you make better cattle. Visit the website to see all that Cattle Visions has to offer, especially featuring the hottest sires in the land. Lance and the Cattle Visions gang are always here to help you.
Pfeiffer Farms is located in Orlando, Oklahoma. They're a family-oriented operation, and their goal is to breed for competition at every level. They hold 11 sales annually, and they'd love to see you at one of them. For more information, check them out, pfeifferfarms.com. Welcome back to Stock Show Confidential. You know, one of the most important parts of stock showing is the selection process. Let's hear from Chad Cogburn. He is one of the top judges in the country and an expert on the selection process.
We're going to start and talk about, just going to talk about the basics of skeletons and what we look for and when we evaluate goats, not only from a baby perspective, a prospect perspective, but later on as market-ready goats. When you look at skeletons, there's certain things that we all agree on must be there in order to make a good one. There's certainly some things that you can look at in terms of his skeleton that lets us have a pretty good idea of how big he's going to get, or is he going to be a potential middleweight, lightweight, or heavyweight. If we look at this one, there's 3 indicators of growth potential, and he probably mentioned those yesterday: the length of his head, the length of his neck, and the length of his cannon bone. His cannon bone is basically from his knee to his pastern, from his hock to his pastern. The longer those bones are, he should get big. I'd say this one's probably going to be about anywhere from 90 to 100 pounds when he reaches his terminal endpoint. And what I say about terminal endpoint, when he's ready, when he's market ready, when he's ready to be harvested, that's what his terminal endpoint's going to be. Let's talk about this guy right here. He's not perfect, but he's pretty good. So if we look at his skeleton, The one thing that really I like to look at, especially on babies in a green pen, even if they're skinny, kind of like this goat here that hadn't been sheared yet, he's real young, he's immature, but when you look at him and get right on top of him and look at him without ever handling, you don't even have to put your hands on him, I want 4-rib shape. 4-rib is basically from here, his first rib, to about his 8th or 9th rib, maybe 10th rib. If I can get that to look like this and still have some depth of body, I want them to be proportional from flank to flank. In other words, that's his foreflank, that's his rear flank. I want to draw a straight line and make that look proportional and even. But when I look at his 4-rib shape, I want him, gun barrel's not the term I want to use, but it's kind of the term I want to use. You know what I mean? I want him shapely. I want him shapely, but I want him deep and shapely. But if I look at him from a structure standpoint, the biggest hole that I'm going to talk about him negatively is right here. He's a little bolder, right on top of his blade, but at the same time, when we look at him from the side, I want his neck to lay in nice and neat at the point of his shoulder. And he still does that. For as thick as he is, he's still decent in terms of the way that he ties in his neck. He's not the longest necked one, but he's certainly proportional. He's nice balanced up through his front end. He's pretty good right there. If we could change this and blend that in just a tick smoother, he'd be really good. If we talk about length of body, obviously different maturities are going to correlate to different lengths of body. I like to measure goats from their last rib back, and you'll see a lot of judges actually go in there and handle those goats like they do sheep. When I handle them here and I handle them here, I'm pretty much feeling that last rib, so I can tell, you know, that's his last rib, so from there to there is his length of hind saddle. So we want that long, but we want it full of meat too. So that's his rack. This is his loin. Hips are big for us. I think both of these guys will agree. You know, goats for sure are different in terms of the way that their skeleton's made up, just because of the nature of the beast. They're going to have some slope to their hip. They're going to be lower in their tail set. They're going to be steeper in their hip than a sheep. But the closer we can get to level, the better we like them. We like that tail set basically coming out of the top part of their spine. And we can get them to the point to where they've got some feet and leg issues if we get them too straight. Structural correctness and soundness is muy grande important to me, and I think it is to these two guys too. We want them to be able to move, but basically to me, skeletons and structure, if you can read what a good structured one is, muscle falls in there real easy.
Well, friends, thanks for joining us on another edition of Stock Show Confidential from the beautiful campus here at Howard College in the Goat Camp. You know, next week we're going to take you down to San Antonio, Texas. We're going to introduce you to the Blaylock family. It's a story that's going to touch your heart. You're not going to want to miss it. But until then, here's hoping that we'll see you in the winner's circle.